26-year-old Ebenezer Asari was shot and killed when 4 armed men attacked the home of Sydney Wallace in Ano Town, Kaswa. The men stole Mr. Wallace's wedding ring, 2 Samsung mobile phones, 2 wrapped hampers, and 1,000 Ghana cedis cash. They also took a Toyota Corolla. Asari, who was Wallace's next-door neighbor, was shot after raising alarm. Now, we will be going a bit more into how the police is dealing with these issues generally, but we have with us in the studio security analyst Adib Sani to help us with this issue. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
So, you've heard ASP Irene Opong. Your initial comments in a minute.
Well, as a security person, I hate to speculate. I mean, I comment on what I see. And from what I see, this is not exactly new news, because I have also personally been through that before, about a year ago, when I was a victim of a burglary somewhere in Kaswa. I reported to the police. They knew the address, but nobody showed up. To date, nobody has even made a call to me. I have personally also spoken with a number of people who have expressed similar sentiments. Anytime they are victims of criminal activities, they report to the police, and not much is being done about it. But in security circles, we have something called situational crime prevention. And it's basically hinged on creating that environment of, disincentivizing crime, as it were, making crime unattractive. Exactly, making crime unattractive. And one of the ways that can be done is the visibility, arrest and prosecutions, but most importantly, the reactionary time. I mean, how effectively, efficiently and timely bound we are to react when there's any incidents of criminal activity. I think that is very important, and we have to take a closer look at that protocol.
Right. So there are a number of other issues that have come up with robbery, so many of them. And we'll take one that happened in Kumasi, where the Seventh-day Adventist Church is demanding justice for members of Adwato Edumanu branch who were attacked by a gang of armed robbers on the eve of Christmas. One person was injured when 3 masked armed robbers attacked members of the church during an all-night prayer service. President of the Mid-Central Conference of the church said Esiedu wants police to speed up investigations to bring the perpetrators to book. He was speaking to JoyNews on the sidelines of a Thanksgiving service organized by the church. Ohiming Teria joined the church service and has come through with this report.
Almost every house within the community has been, one way or the other, attacked at gunpoint. What happens is that they kidnap your child when you don't have what they want. The recent attack happened on Thursday when a family was robbed at gunpoint. Some of the victims recount their ordeal to JoyNews.
Around 9 p.m. when we came back from office, and if you look at it, the person is somebody who has been monitoring us. He knows the time we get into the house and all those things. So you see, and it's more like we are living with kidnappers within the community that we live in at Bukrom Estate, Eli, and it's a serious thing. I mean, our life are really at stake. You don't know when somebody will shoot you. You see, if we had not even surrendered the very evening they came, and we struggled with them, by now, I mean, myself and family would have been no more.
I no more feel safe here at Bukrom Estate. I live close to K-Farm Hospital. There are a lot of people around, but every house is walled and no one is close enough to see what is happening within your compound. So frankly, from now, I felt very insecure where I live. When I'm coming home, I have to call neighbors to meet me sometimes because I don't know what I'll come to meet at home. And because they are able to jump into my compound, the situation becomes more frightening, because you could just get home and notice someone is really in your house even before he enters. So he knows where to pass to hide from you. So it becomes very unsafe.
Residents explain they have lost confidence in the police because almost all the robbery cases reported have yielded futile results.
In fact, for the little that I've known, nobody, I mean, none of those whose houses have been burgled went to the police station and anything came out of it. So definitely when you suffer and then you report to the police, nothing comes out of it. So there's no need.
Some of the residents have resorted to community watchdogs and private security to protect lives and property. The victims want police visibility intensified in the community to address the situation.
If the whole community could come together and organize this watchdog committee thing, it will be the best. And I also wish the police, this visibility thing they talk about, I mean, the police, they are not visible in Bokrom Estate. I don't see them anywhere. The only place I see them is when I pass by their police post. If they are supposed to be visible, once in a while we need to see them come around. If not in their vehicles, I hear they've been given motorbikes. Once in a while they go around these areas and see what is going on. And that will go a long way to help.
Reporting for Joy News, Nana Asensu Mensah.
So we apologize for bringing you a different inset there. That was a report from Bokrom Estate in Kumasi, where some robberies have been occurring in the past 6 months. About 20 residents have complained that these incidents have occurred. But Adib, this ties into our general conversation about robbery. We have a number of them happening in Kumasi, some happening in the central region, some happening here in the Greater Accra region. There's not enough time to actually bring all of these up. But where do you think we are going wrong here?
Well, I think we have to completely overhaul our security protocols, of course, in the country. We have to do more about police visibility. Already some efforts have been made in the past, but I think there's still a lot more that can be done. At the moment, the police population is about 32,000, making the police-civilian ratio, one police officer is to about 780 Ghanaians, which is way below international best practices. As a matter of fact, it's supposed to be one police officer to about 500 Ghanaians. So I think, first of all, more officers would have to be recruited, well-trained. They would have to be visible on the ground. And like I indicated also, the focus should be on crime prevention rather than it's happening and we running helter-skelter looking for solutions. And one of the ways that can be done is to speed up the prosecution process. Of course, like I indicated, we have to create an environment where crime would be seen as very unattractive, something that would prevent people from going into crime in the first place. And then even at the very personal level, we have to be conscious of our security environment. Because when you look closely at the modus operandi, usually burglars or armed robbers, they like entering your facility or house through the actual hill of the house. Usually the doors leading into the kitchen or the windows leading into the washrooms, because usually these are places we don't put burglar proof and they easily have access into the homes. And usually when we have single ladies living alone and you invite an artisan, a plumber, electrician to work on something in the house, don't make him know you are alone in the building. Sometimes you can you know, behave as if you are with another person in the house. Like you can stand at a distance and mention, honey, are you okay? So he gets to know there is another person in the house. Usually when they get to know you are alone in the house, it becomes a bit of a challenge. And those living at the outskirts, let us not put all the concentration...
the outskirts of urban centers.
Of urban centers. You see, let us not put all the focus on state security. We all have a role to play in that regard. You see some people living at very secluded areas. There are weeds, you know, all over the building. They become classic hiding spots for criminals. Let us make sure we clear all of them. Before you enter your building from a distance, you give a highlight, get to know if someone is, you know, loitering around your facility or not. Because now what they do is they come and wait outside your building. You open your gates, then they go into your house with you. So overall, we all have a role to play. We have to be very conscious of our security environment. I know security is expensive, but if you are capable, you can employ the services of private security firms or even buy some cheap alarm systems which are on the market that can, as it were, prevent crime.
Right, thank you. Thank you very much, Adib Sani, for bringing us these personal tips for generally residents of the country. Let's now hear from the head of public affairs of the Ghana Police Service, ACP David Eklu, who gave us some details of the efforts the police have been putting in place to deal with some of these robbery incidents that have been coming up.
2 weeks before we entered the Christmas festivities, that was on December 9th or so, we spelled out to the public through a media brief a 10-point law enforcement strategy based on our analysis of normally crime trends during these festivities. One was to identify some of the soft targets where crimes happen, that's on our highways, at entertainment and busy market areas, at residential areas, and also at some vital installations were also targeted during previous festivities. And then we also ensured that we facilitated a free flow of traffic. So those are the areas that we concentrated during the Christmas and the New Year. And the feedback we got from the public was that it was relatively successful, even though there were a few cases of robberies, highway, and then other residential robberies across the left and west of the country. But in all, if you put all together, you would come out to see, we can say that, yes, our strategies did work well. People enjoyed the Christmas and the New Year festivities safely, and there were not major incidents, even though there were some cases of robberies which are under investigation.
Are these security protocols for the holidays, are they still in place?
Yes, of course. We have not completely folded or withdrawn our officers. They are still in place because crime is always a continuous process, and we are also mapping our strategy. So we have not completely dismantled our operational strategies, but it might not be with the same intensity as it was during the Christmas, because during the Christmas we deployed over 16,000 police officers specifically for Christmas duties. But for now, some of them have gone back to their normal routine police duties, which is the night patrols and other police duties in the other police stations. Because some of them were drawn from other units and they have gone back. But the robust policing is still ongoing.
Now, security analysts have expressed worry that in the wake of some robberies that we've been having, especially immediately after the Christmas holidays, it means that these robbers were simply biding their time and waiting for the increased police activity to go down a little before taking advantage of the situation.
I cannot discount the security analyst point of view, but crime happens all the time. Even before the Christmas festivities, we had cases of highway robberies and etc. on our highways. So it will be very difficult for me to say that the robbers were just waiting for the Christmas festivities to go and then they start striking, because yes, after the Christmas festivity, we have 1 or 2 cases of robberies that had happened. But as I speak now, there was a major arrest in the Upper West region, which will be announced by the regional commander. So it means that we are still working, and this arrest was made just last week.
How many people were arrested, sir?
Yes, the details will be given by about 5 people were arrested. They were robbing in Pram, and then they went to Bolga to settle and to continue the robberies. But fortunately, we got.
Director of Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service, ACP David Eklu there, speaking of how the police have been dealing with robbery cases, especially after the holidays. You're still watching News Desk on Joy News. My name is Daniel Daze, but Emmanuel Abuaje joins us next with business.